Good evening. Not really. I'm just here like the rest of you, knowledge seekers learning and trying to find out where the not misunderstanding, what has not been understood. In general, just we are in a fresh leg of massive knowledge and technology. And as I said, we haven't even started scratching the crawling bit, let alone going up the steps of 1,000 steps. And going through this enhancement experience was an amazing realization of what and how much more needs to be done and needs to be understood by knowledge, because if we just make things, we don't understand it. It's just another toy we play with, but if we understand it, we can expand it. And a lot of new dimensions has come out in our work. We have people who are not knowledge seekers, who work in the factory, but by building the reactors, by building the components, and by being active for past couple of years with us, they become better than knowledge seekers. They understand the technology. They're not knowledge seekers. They don't listen to any of the teaching, but they have understood what needs to be done and how. And now the operation and assembly is done by non-knowledge seekers who understand exactly how the plasma works. And it's strange enough, none of them is scientists. We have a bunch of educated people, degree people in economy and everything else that work on, or in chemistry, but they're assembling the reactors and understanding exactly how it should be done. And understand the fields better than knowledge seekers. You don't need to read, you need to understand. And even one of them was in the flight unit with me last week, and I said, this has to be, says, I did put it there, but I was told, no, it should be the other way. And then I was told, yes, he wanted to put it, because he said, this is how it should work. And the way you put it, it doesn't work. And now we're going back to what do you call it? One of our guys in the factory has understood, and very correctly. So it doesn't need to read everything about everything. It's just understanding, grasping the ideas. But I don't know if you've seen it. Yesterday, we have put a note for people to come to LIMS, because now we are ready to move you from one unit to another. And the knowledge is there and the system is built. And from mid-September, we literally started transportation, physical transportation, see how successful we are if we understood it correctly. And even today, we were designing part of the stage that, if you noticed, I can move, I can extend the soul. Now, we allowed last week for the first time people to bring everything in, except mobile phones and electronics, because they interfere with our system. And now we are setting our system. We are working on it yesterday and today with our development people, that we wanted to move your soul to get your physicality from unit 1 to unit 2. Now we would like to take your maybe stone in your pocket, keys in your pocket, and maybe you brought yourself I don't know, a plant or something which is alive in different dimensions, how are we going to carry all three across? I cannot tell you can come to New York from London with nothing on and no money or nothing. You can leave your credit card behind, give you one when you land here. Now we are setting the stage up to now was last week, the week before, where we moved the souls or extended the soul or the energy package to move. With the people who came in last week, we told them, don't empty your pockets, just leave your electronics and handbags behind, anything else, we have got keys or whatever, is no problem. Now we have set a system to take your keys across, to take everything else, which itself is a totally different technology. But in Research Lab, I have taught and we know how. So the systems, when you come in, is not just carrying you across naked. We carry with your clothing and what's in your pocket, and can be extended to your suitcase. But if you travel the depth of the universe, your clothing in the suitcase is useless. So the technology is still stepping further, and with it, we now in September try to move the whole lot of you. Those of you who were there, we always told you to take everything, come empty pocket as it is. We were going to tell you to take your clothes off as well, but now, because we know what needs to be done to carry the matter, the GANs, and what we call soul of vegetation, whatever, if you want to got a plant with you, we can't tell you to leave it behind. You want to take your flower for your lover to New York, you can't just take a picture and say, I was going to bring you this flower. You've got to carry that flower. And that flower has different soul structure than the human structure soul. And we know that this is knowledge we never released. We will never release it. Then we can carry the soul of the vegetation with us, carry the soul of the stone with us. And we manifested exactly where it was, the way it was when you left it. This technology is not in the hand of the man, but is shared with those who work with us in knowledge seekers and in their laboratories, that how to carry what we call the gas state of the life, the solidness of the matter, and what we call the dimension of the life in the vertical life. It's very special, it's very unique, but you have to be able to carry all three together. And this is the beauty of it, understanding knowledge. And our team are making all the what we call the systems for it, and we can move all three of you with your clothing and with what's in your pocket. And that's why, as I said last week, we told people not to empty your pocket, just don't bring any electronic because you mess up everything else. So there is a lot still to teach. It's not just people are in a hurry. Can we have our system? Yes, we can have a system. And it says, oh, they know it's coming and there's nothing. We can't stop developing. We can't stop reaching out to do so. And what we call the expansion and the knowledge is unimaginable. As I said to John before, we had to stop somewhere to start somewhere. And even now we stopped and we started to release the technology. We see, we should have waited another day. I was told this week, Mr. Keshe should have waited another 6 months till we could have done much more before we show it this way. Because they've seen it, how it develops, how it takes shape, why we introduced the gas production this week, why we've introduced the what they call it, the plasma technology the week before. Without that generator, you cannot create light. Because, as I said before, it generates plasma current and electric current. And if you're going to move a man, you have to have the plasma current. If you're going to move the man with the things in his pocket, you need the electric current. That's matter state. And knowledge seekers don't understand this. And they say, oh, why does it bleep? My God, the knowledge is shown for some different purpose, but if a bleeping is so important to you, so that's what, as much as you understand. We just released today, we're asking for about 50 people to come to Linz for us to test to move from one system to another in September. The first transmutation, and we are not shy about it. It's very open. You have to physically come to Linz and go through the system. And whatever happens in addition to it, it's something your gain.
While Mr. Keshe's mic is muted, I didn't hear the last part. My phone rang and I told him I'd call right back. But just remember, on the second Monday of August is Rick's testimonial meeting. And perhaps anyone who experienced what happened in the reactor group, Rick would love you to be there and to share your testimony. Now we all have more or less a small testimony to share. In the second Monday, which would be August 8th at 8 p.m. CEST to share, and more, of course, if you have other things you'd like to share. So just a reminder about that. Is there something else someone would like to ask?
Hello, this is Jackie. I wonder if any of you have ever heard Mr. Keshe teach us or share knowledge with us about whether or not once someone learns to extend their soul outside their physicality, could they embrace someone and take them with them without their soul being extended? Similar to what we're going to transmit our clothes and things in our pocket. Thank you.
We'll let Mr. Keshe expand on that.
You cannot do that. You cannot steal a soul. That's something very simple. Just because you can extend and they can't, you can't grab them to take them. They have to consent to it.
With consent, I meant with consent.
Yes, with the consent, and the same is they learn. If they will teach, we've done this in the enhancement center. We have seats. I deliberately tested this, and when they don't want to, they go. We had a husband, 2 or 3 of them, where some of this microphone is open. where one doesn't consent to go, or they go halfway and I'm going somewhere else. And it's exactly what happens. We had a couple that the two wanted to go to France, but the other one wanted to go somewhere else. When they went to France and they met whatever they knew, they went together. She said, I don't want to go, because he wanted to go to moon. And she said, no, I'm not coming. And they departed. And the funny thing was they were talking to each other because we were in the same simulation system. And he says, I'm going to the moon. She said, no, I'm not coming. You go on your own. We've been to Paris. And when they came out, they been to the same places in Paris together, because the two had a good memory from the last time they went to Paris. This time is not, as I always say to all the knowledge, especially past 2 weeks system, the way it's set up. We listen to you talking about, I went out, I saw my mom, I saw my uncle, I went to the moon, and I did this, I saw these things. It's very nice in the testimonial, but I'm not interested in any of it. Not a single bit of it, as I said many times before. I always ask them, when you to the moon, did you touch the moon or did you feel the moon? When you saw the grandpa, did you cuddle the grandpa or did you feel the grandpa and then you cuddled? And that's that feeling they're interested in. That shows this expansion of the soul. When I have that expansion, which means the physicality is bubbled, now all your life your physicality engaged the soul, now the soul is engaging the physicality, then I can move the soul. That's all I'm interested in. All these beautiful testimonials, I went to the moon, the rest of it, I didn't do this, I did that. Not interested, not a bit. It's good for us to know what the expansion can do. But all I'm interested in is, can I expand your soul? And then becomes the envelope. You go to the airport, fly that 50 or 100 kilo weight, you come to the Keshe Foundation, I take your soul, you'll be there faster, and then you can manifest it. Zip, zip. And this is that's where we are going. We need under 30, 50 people, which now we've seen people start registering, to come into Linz and move them. Physically moved. Once we do that, then, as we said, in October, November, we should be able to do the transportation from those of you who are wherever you want to come to Linz. And then that is another commotion with Austrian government. And in a way, the pre-test of it was done on Wednesday, when we asked you to join us in the remote test. You do not know what we did in our station in Linz to get this communication built up with you. We built a system for this purpose. It wasn't coincident that Jalal went somewhere else and somebody else went somewhere else and somebody went to see the mother or the grandfather or whatever. The important thing was that, can we establish with the systems which we have built to create a connection? Because now that your soul has expanded, we know we can reach it. The next step for us is shoot you down the line back to us. That's all is left to do. When Jalal speaks about his seen the flash, or somebody else was talking about finding their grandfather or whatever, the ancestors, or somebody saw the mother or whatever, that shows the system is set up for this purpose is there. So in a way, we can dial your soul, if you understood it. And we can dial soul of many of you, as so many people got touched. Now is, can we pull you in? That's all it's left. It's like me saying hello, and you answered hello. What's the next word? Would you like to be with me to say hello face to face, or do you want to sit on another side to be face to face? And we hopefully, October, November, we should be able to do that. Those of you who partook in this experiment with Rink's workshop, you answered literally a lot of things which we developed, and we were going to test in 2 months. Now we tested it, so that's why now we're going to move all of you in one go, or people individually. But now we have to see, can we get one person from one machine to another individually? And then can we then bring you in which machine? You won't come out in the room. You'll have to come up with another machine. Now we've got 2 more machines getting built. What happens when those 2 come in and we just bring you in? The true beam miscut is on the way. And you answered us on Wednesday test. We got what we wanted. We got actually confirmation of more or less 80% of our work. Now the 20% is, if you're standing there, you can't tell you empty your pocket and come, you got to bring your passport, otherwise you don't know who you are. That's a matter of state. We have to see. And you have to have a consent to anything if you bring anybody. Our biggest problem is after October, how to handle the Austrian government. Up to now you had immigration in the airports, now you have to have immigration in plasma ports. As I said as a joke to one of our friends, is that they can't hijack you, they can't kidnap you in the airports anymore.
On a similar note, I was just thinking, well, if I go to Linz and I manifest in the matter state, should I have already put my passport in my pocket in case somebody asks me to see any paperwork, or do I say, I'm just here, compliments of the Keshe Foundation?
Oh, there's a procedure we set you up prior to coming. We need a copy of your passport, we need a copy of your ID, and confirmation of your residence. Then we have to give these to the authorities that we are transmitting such a person with such identity. Do they need to issue a visa? The best thing will be in the near future to ask the world leaders or have the phone number of the world leaders in a conference and bring all of them to Linz. Let's see how they react. It's a lot of things needs to be done, but we're going very fast. But eventually we are there. The test this Wednesday brought a lot of things forward. And now we have to build, actually we start building, should be there by end of this week, a system that can bring matter, the gas, and the physicality of the plants with us. join us in links as fast as you can, or get in to test the transportation. And we'll see. We wanted 100 people to test, and we achieved 100. We are fully booked till got our test completed. There are a few people coming in as what I call joyriders, but the 100 we wanted, we completed fully. Now we need to do the next 50 to complete the transportation. Let's see.